Hello, everybody. Before we start the show, I wanted to go through and talk to you about our sponsors. ForPatriots.com this week has specials on a buy one, get one on a 4-week food supply. And they also have generators on a buy one, get one. Each generator includes a free solar panel. Their generators are for indoor and outdoor use as they run completely off of the electric batteries. Now, over to EMP Shield specials. They have 50% off by using my link in the description below. They also have some other specials over there from $20 to $200 off if you buy some items in bulk from 2 or more items. So go check them out either during the show or after the show, but whenever you go, just make sure you check them out. And I appreciate that. And you all enjoy the show, and we'll see you afterwards. All right, hello everyone. I am not sure if all my streams are running, but keeping my fingers crossed. Out of all the times that I've gone, all I can say is this episode I think is going to be very important. It just touches on the surface of what I intend to cover on this show over time. And I have written the show into a script, just so you know, because I'm going to be reading going on. But normally I don't like to read from a script, but in this case, I want all the information coming from me to you to be clear and concise. So this information is very important, and I plan to build on this over time. So some of you already know a lot of what I'm going to be laying out tonight, but my hope is that each and every one of you will learn something new tonight with this broadcast. I hope you enjoy this presentation, and my biggest hope is that you will research a lot of this on your own. I want to stimulate your mind to be curious and into wanting to know more about your true history, where we came from, and who are the true puppet masters that control every aspect of our lives. And believe me when I tell you, whether you choose to believe it or not, every aspect of your life is controlled. So with that being said, let's get on with it. So tonight is Unveiling Bloodlines, the Eternal Masters of Power. Who owns the world? Who are the true architects of global control? While governments are presented as the ultimate decision makers, the true rulers of the world operate far beyond political institutions. Power is centralized, not in elected officials, but in the elite few who control financial systems, corporate conglomerates, and production industries. Ownership is the key. Who owns the world determines who dictates its future. Every major industry, from food to pharmaceuticals, technology to transportation, is controlled by overlapping financial networks and boardroom alliances. While it may seem as though the competition exists, in reality, a handful of entities own both the premium brands and the generic labels, ensuring profits flow to the same destination regardless of consumer choice. Corporate conglomerates and supply chain monopoly companies like BlackRock and Vanguard serve as financial umbrellas, holding controlling stakes in numerous industries. Their investment portfolios dictate global market trends, allowing them to manipulate supply chains without public visibility. Generic labels and the illusion of choice. Many consumers believe generic brands offer independence from major corporations, but in reality, the same families and financial institutions own them. From supermarket staples to pharmaceuticals, the illusion of competition masks centralized control. While corporations publicly display their executives, the real decision makers are the board members, figures who maintain seats across multiple industries, ensuring coordinated strategies that shape economic policies, product availability, and even regulatory measures. Key figures on global boards. Individuals like Larry Fink of BlackRock, Steven Schwarzman of Blackstone, and members of dynasty families such as the Rothschilds. Many hold over private foundations ensure elite interest agreements and technological regulations. Ownership is control, from the products we consume to the institutions that govern us. A concentrated network of financial families and corporate entities dictate global systems. The illusion of choice fades when one recognizes that even seemingly independent alternatives lead back to the same powerful hands. As we move forward, we will uncover how these forces shape intelligence agencies, secret societies, and engineered geopolitical events. Global businesses, the hidden controllers of consumption. The products we buy, the food we eat, the technology we use, none of it exists in truly free market. While corporations appear diverse and independent, the reality is far more centralized. Every major industry ensuring that regardless of choice, the money flows to the same hands. These firms operate beyond policies and dictate consumer behavior through strategic investments. BlackRock, the shadow government. With over $10 trillion in assets under management, BlackRock holds positions in nearly every major corporation. More than just an investor, BlackRock advises central banks, governments, and policymakers, ensuring its influence extends beyond Wall Street and into global governance. Vanguard holds massive significant stakes in competing firms. Vanguard ensures controlled opposition, making true competition nearly impossible. State Street specializes in financial infrastructure, holding the backbone of pension funds and corporate assets. With its ties to sovereign wealth funds and global regulators, State Street ensures elite financial networks remain untouchable. Regardless of brand names, retail chains, or corporate logos, these firms hold controlling interest in everything from food production to premium brands. These investment firms do not just hold wealth, they shape the markets, dictate policies, and ensure that true competition remains an illusion. Ownership is control, and the global elite have ensured that no matter what product is purchased, the money always returns to them. Hidden power. So this is going to be an introduction into secret societies and bloodlines. Throughout history, relating events, steering outcomes, and preserving their control across generations. To understand the present, we must first unearth the past. The foundations of hidden power lie in the bloodline secrets, secret societies, and clandestine institutions that have worked tirelessly to maintain their influence. Long before modern intelligence agencies and global financial powerhouses, secret societies orchestrated world affairs from behind closed doors. These groups, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and even obscure royal families did not merely exist in isolation. Instead, they wove themselves into the fabric of politics, religion, and commerce, ensuring their survival through strategic alliances, covert operations, and intergenerational wealth. Consider the Jesuit order, officially established in 1540. While their public mission focused on education and religious conversion, their deeper purpose was intelligence gathering, infiltration, and geopolitical influence. The order embedded itself into monarchies and governments, using their vast network to steer international policies. Similarly, the Rosicrucians, cloaked in mysticism and secrecy, laid the groundwork for esoteric knowledge that would later influence Freemasonry, shaping ideological movements that continue to resonate today. One of the most overlooked yet powerful mechanisms of control is lineage. The concept of royal bloodlines extends beyond mere aristocracy. It embodies the deliberate preservation of influence through family ties, positions of authority, and access to secrets that outsiders would never uncover. Names like Rothschild, Rockefeller, Habsburg are known to the public, but deeper within history lie lesser-known families whose legacies remain intact through financial institutions, corporate conglomerates, and intelligence operations. Their presence is subtle yet undeniable, shaping policies, manipulating markets, and influencing geopolitical events from the highest levels. The illusion of democratic control fades when one understands the mechanisms at play. The hidden elite do not simply exist. They thrive by engineering society itself, dictating narratives and ensuring that their power remains unchallenged. As we move forward, we will dissect their methods, expose their strategies, and uncover the truth that history has worked so hard to conceal. So we're going to look a little deeper into the Jesuits and the Rosicrucians, as they're the architects of influence. For centuries, the corridors of power have echoed with footsteps of two organizations whose reach extends beyond religion, mysticism, and philosophy. The Jesuits and their Rosicrucians did not simply emerge from ideological movements, they engineered them. Their influence has shaped governments, economies, intelligence networks, and even the very way history is recorded. Founded in 1540, the Jesuit order, known officially as the Society of Jesus, claimed to spread religious education. But behind the facade, it operated as a global intelligence network, embedding its members into royal courts, political institutions, and financial centers. Unlike conventional armies or political factions, the Jesuits wielded control through knowledge, persuasion, and strategic positioning. Infiltration of monarchies and governments, the Jesuits mastered the art of playing both sides, whether advising kings or working covertly to destabilize opposing factions. They ensured the survival of their and found themselves indebted to the order. While publicly perceived as educators and theologians, Jesuits established connections with financial institutions, ensuring control over economic systems. Their ability to manipulate markets, debt structures, and trade routes gave them indirect power over national economies. With access to elite circles and presence across continents, the Jesuit network became the perfect intelligence gathering machine. Their influence did not diminish with time. Instead, it evolved, embedding itself within modern intelligence agencies. Unlike the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians did not operate openly as an institution, but instead influenced key thinkers, rulers, and organizations from the shadows. Rosicrucian philosophy was not just about mysticism, it was about control. They positioned themselves as keepers of ancient wisdom, attracting powerful figures who sought enlightenment. This allowed them to influence social movements, revolutions, and even political uprisings. While their teachings shaped Freemasonry, their influence did not end there. Traces of Rosicrucian symbolism and ideology exist in modern financial institutions, corporate organizations, and even global governance structures. Many Rosicrucian-affiliated families intermarried with nobility, merging their esoteric power with tangible wealth and influence. Their descendants now occupy positions in banking, intelligence, and global policy making. The Jesuits perfected infiltration, the Rosicrucians mastered ideological manipulation. Together they laid the groundwork for secretive control that extends into the present day. Their methods were not only to maintain power, but to conceal its existence entirely. As we progress, we will expose how these forces shape the global elite and continue to dictate the direction of world affairs. Bloodlines and hidden dynasties. Power is not simply acquired, it is preserved, protected, and passed down through generations. The true rulers of the world are not politicians on television or the corporate executives in the boardrooms, but the families whose bloodlines dictate financial control, policy direction, and the narrative that shapes society itself. These dynasties are not just bound by wealth, but by secrecy, ensuring their dominance remains unchallenged. History has recorded certain influential families, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Habsburgs, but there exists a deeper network of lineages that rarely make headlines. These families, some stretching back centuries, do not simply amass wealth, they shape economies, manipulate markets, and direct global institutions. The preservation of power depends on controlled lineage. Unlike ordinary families, these dynasties arrange marriages to ensure the consolidation of influence, merging financial empires and securing control over banking institutions, intelligent networks, and corporate conglomerates. Key positions within the intelligence agencies, financial organizations, and policy-making entities are often occupied by descendants of these dynastic families. Their training begins at birth, their connections are preordained, and their influence operates beneath the surface of geopolitical events. While governments appear to regulate economic systems, the reality is far more controlled, ensuring markets move according to their design. The formation of central banks was never simply about monetary policy, it was about control. Dynasty families positioned themselves within these institutions, ensuring financial systems operate in their favor while maintaining the illusion of market independence. Many of the world's largest corporations are not truly owned by the executives in charge. They are controlled through interwoven family interests that span continents. These families dictate resource distribution, technological development, and even military-industrial operations. True power does not seek the spotlight, it thrives in secrecy. These families do not advertise their influence, they obscure it, operating behind charitable foundations, financial institutions, and advisory councils that steer policy without public recognition. Bloodlines are not simply a relic of monarchy, they remain one of the most effective mechanisms for sustaining global control. These families do not just hold wealth, they dictate the systems that govern society, ensuring their influence spans generations. As we progress, we will expose how their reach extends into the intelligence operations, hidden alliances, and the formation of elite-controlled regions. The reappearance of elites, disappearing and emerging under new identities. And a lot of times this is over time. So I just wanted to put a footnote in here that we've all probably been cruising around and doing Google searches for images, and we find images of people from the 1800s or 1700s or even before that look like people today, that they have similarities between them. That might not be a conspiracy theory. Okay, I just want to put that out there. So powerful figures don't always stay in the public eye. Some scrutiny or reposition themselves within the elite circles. Certain individuals have mastered the art of reinvention and strategic erasure, retreated from public view only to reemerge later. sometimes under entirely new identities. Media figures or untraceable consultants, and adding a note in there too, movie stars and, basically very well-known people. The role of secret societies in identity erasure. Certain secret societies maintain mechanisms for protecting their own, providing passage for members to disappear when exposure threatens their influence. Connections between Freemasonry, Rosicrucians, and elite-controlled intelligence agencies suggest planned disappearances rather than organic fades into obscurity. Cases exist of elites vanishing from public record only to reintegrate into the global influence through altered narratives or erased past. Disappearing is not retreat, it is strategy. Some elites fade from history only to ensure their influence remains intact under new roles, new identities, and new structures of control. That's pretty interesting if you think deep about that and what is actually being said. There are some things I can't go into quite yet. That'll ruin, what do they call that? Giving out the information on an upcoming show. So our next section, good old Racine, Wisconsin, a nexus of unregulated power. This one here hits near and dear to me, very close to home, because it used to be home. There are locations scattered across the world where influence operates beyond official oversight. Places where secret societies conduct their affairs, where trafficking networks remain untouchable, and where elite operations move in the shadows. One such place is Racine, Wisconsin, otherwise known as the Root. Beneath its quiet, Midwestern exterior lies a deeper connection to elite control mechanisms, unchecked power, and concealed influence. Racine is not just another American city. It is positioned at a crossroads, geographically, politically, and economically, allowing certain entities to thrive unnoticed. The presence of secret societies, unregulated financial movements, and trafficking operations suggests that Racine is more than meets the eye. Certain dynastic families maintain deep-rooted connections in Racine. Their presence in business, philanthropy, and local governance provides an illusion of community engagement for specific operations away from the broader scrutiny. Think back to the elections coming up after 2020 or even before 2020. All the agenda 2021, the agenda 2030, all this stuff is think tanked in Racine, Wisconsin. The Bowers, do a little bit more research on that. I'm not going to go too deep on that yet. Freemasonry and other organizations with historical ties to elite control mechanisms have long been embedded in Racine's leadership. Their involvement in local infrastructure projects, economic shifts, and undisclosed dealings suggest a deeper agenda at play. These networks operate with precision, ensuring loyalty and silence among those involved. And for those that have been doing research on Racine, know what I'm talking about there. If they can't get you to shut up on your own with threats, they will permanently shut you up. While many cities experience corruption at some level, Racine's role in trafficking networks and unregulated dealings stands apart. Underground systems facilitate the movement of individuals, financial oversight. These connections between these networks and powerful entities suggest protection from consequences, ensuring that those running the system remain untouched. Racine plays host to a variety of financial irregularities, hidden transactions, offshore connections, and economic movements that point towards unregulated control mechanisms. These anomalies indicate larger, unseen operations running beneath the surface. During the Civil War era, Racine played a critical role in the Underground Railroad, a covert network that guided escaped slaves from the South to safety in the North and into Canada in some cases, fleeing oppression. Now, real quick, I want to add a note to that. All of our cities across the United States, especially as I mentioned with old world buildings, every single one of them are connected to underground tunnel networks. Some of them have been blocked off, but most of them are still intact, and there's a reason for that. Racine's location near Lake Michigan allowed the discrete transportation, with ships providing passage across the Great Lakes to Canada and eventually out to the Atlantic Ocean. And this isn't, they're not just talking about escapees like from the Civil War, they're talking today on people that they're taking through these locations. Certain buildings still standing today once served as shelter points for those traveling the Underground Railroad. The secrecy maintained by abolitionist networks ensured the success of these operations. The very same systems, tunnels, shipping routes, and logistical hubs that once provided safety for the oppressed became tools for exploitation. Racine's infrastructure, originally designed for freedom, or was it, was repurposed or concealed for movement of individuals, particularly children, through trafficking networks. Tunnel systems and unregulated transport. Many of Racine's underground tunnels remain intact, now serving a darker purpose. The lack of direct oversight allows certain operations to move through these hidden passages without interference. Unlike controlled international ports, Racine's shipping access operates with minimal customs enforcement. I would say almost none. Ships entering and leaving the port do not undergo the same inspections found at other trade hubs, making it an ideal location for discreet movement. Racine's airport, which is an international airport, also operates without standard customs and border patrol regulations, allowing individuals and cargo to move without documentation or scrutiny. This unrestricted access facilitates trafficking operations that evade detection. Racine is more than a city. It is a microcosm of elite operations that exist beyond conventional oversight. What was once a pathway to freedom has become a pipeline for trafficking, financial anomalies, and concealed influence. As we continue, we will uncover how these localized systems connect to broader intelligence agencies, global strategies, and engineered geopolitical events. And we're going to go deeper on Racine in future episodes. Global intelligence agencies, the tools of control. Governments claim that intelligence agencies exist to safeguard national security, combat terrorism, and protect citizens. But history tells us a different story. Intelligence networks are not simply defensive institutions, they are instruments of influence, engineered by elite power structures to manipulate global events, suppress opposition, and maintain control. The origins of intelligence agencies are deeply intertwined with secret societies, financial dynasties, and global power structures. Their existence was never about protection, it was about strategy. As I mentioned, the Jesuits mastered espionage long before official intelligence agencies existed. Their methods of infiltration, persuasion, and strategic positioning shaped the framework for agencies like the CIA, MI6, and Mossad. And all of those agencies would later adopt the Jesuits' type of espionage and their infiltration. Beyond their influence on ideological movements, Rosicrucians provided the blueprint for clandestine operations, embedding codes, symbols, and encrypted communication into intelligence practices still used today. As nations developed official intelligence organizations, their purpose shifted from espionage to orchestration, directing geopolitical events rather than merely observing them. While the CIA is publicly regarded as a defender of American interests, its historical operations tell a different story. Its direct involvement in coups, revolutions, and assassinations suggests a broader agenda, one that aligns with the elite power structures rather than national security. British intelligence has long operated beyond conventional warfare, ensuring that financial networks remain under elite control. Mossad operates at the intersection of technology, espionage, and geopolitical engineering. Their ability to control narratives and manipulate intelligence sharing networks solidifies their role in elite controlled influences. Throughout history, intelligence organizations have maintained close ties to secret societies. These connections are not coincidental, they are structural, ensuring that elite directives remain intact. Freemasonry within the intelligence networks. Masonic influence within intelligence agencies has existed for centuries, ensuring that certain operatives serve deeper agendas beyond national interests. They take an oath, folks. They take an oath to Freemasonry above their country. That should tell you something. Bloodline control over key positions. Leadership roles within the intelligence agencies are rarely assigned based on merit alone. Dynasty families ensure their descendants occupy critical positions, maintaining control through generational influence. Intelligence agencies do not merely gather information, they manufacture events, control narratives, and ensure that elite power structures remain untouched. The hidden agenda behind intelligence operations is not protection. As I said, it is orchestration. As we move forward, we will uncover the final stages of elite influence and dissect the endgame of global control. The endgame, shaping the future through control. For centuries, elite power structures have operated beyond public scrutiny, engineering society, controlling financial systems, and directing geopolitical events. But where does all this lead? The mechanisms of control are not static, they evolve, adapting to new technologies, social movements, and economic landscapes. The final phase of elite influence is not just about maintaining power, it's about shaping the future itself. Hidden power structures understand that direct governance breeds resistance. Instead, their approach is more sophisticated, moving beyond traditional authority into psychological and technological control. Media engineering and the narrative control. The mainstream media does not simply report events, it creates them. Stories are crafted to manufacture consent, steer public opinion, and ensure that alternative narratives remain suppressed. The rise of censorship and algorithm-driven content filtering ensures only approved perspective reaches the masses. Financial systems and digital currency manipulation. As physical cash fades, digital currencies offer a new frontier for economic control. Elite interests are pushing centralized digital finance systems that allow for direct oversight of transactions, enabling them to regulate wealth, distribution, and economic activity on an unprecedented scale. Artificial intelligence and predictive governance. AI technologies are not simply being developed to assist humanity, they are being positioned as tools for predictive governance. Algorithms now determine policy recommendations, surveillance protocols, and even economic decisions, ensuring that elite control is maintained without direct intervention. Those who challenge power structures are systematically silenced, whether through economic isolation, digital censorship, or engineered scandals. Independent researchers, whistleblowers, and dissenting voices face obstacles that grow with each technological advancement. And I don't know if you guys could tell the nervousness on the edge of my voice, but that's what I'm thinking about in the back of my head. Weaponization of social movements. Grassroots uprisings have historically been organic, but elite institutions now control many modern movements, ensuring that activism is directed in ways that do not threaten structural power. So we have like Act Blue, we've got BLM, And I think you could even put some of the MAGA movement in there too. Okay. Mass surveillance is no longer limited to intelligence agencies. It is embedded in social media platforms, smart devices, and financial tracking systems. Every action, preference, and decision is recorded, analyzed, and leveraged for influence. The end game is not about sustaining traditional control. It is about reshaping society into a system where resistance is impossible, where narratives are pre-engineered, and where financial, technological, and ideological manipulation dictate the course of human history. The fight for truth is not over, but exposing these mechanisms is the first step towards reclaiming autonomy. This is an extra addition that I put in here because some of this will answer some questions, and it also is going to lead to other future things that we're going to talk about. So this is the Iraq War and the looting of history, why ancient artifacts were targeted. Wars are rarely fought solely over land or politics. Hidden beneath conventional narratives lies another motive: the pursuit of historical artifacts and knowledge erased from mainstream history. The Iraq War was not only about oil, military presence, or regime change. It was about acquiring and eliminating ancient evidence that threatened the accepted timeline of human civilization. And there's more. If you go back to watching last Saturday's show, I talked a little bit more in depth about that. Shortly after the invasion of Iraq in 2003, major museums, historical sites, and archives were systematically looted. While conventional explanations blame opportunistic thieves, the reality suggests targeted extraction of ancient texts, relics, and artifacts tied to early civilization. So what was taken and why it matters? Among the stolen artifacts were cuneiform tablets, Sumerian records, and historical inscriptions detailing alternative origins of human civilization. Some researchers believe certain items contain evidence of pre-flood civilizations, advanced knowledge, or suppressed historical accounts that contradict modern narratives. Plus longevity. Again, I talked about that last week. Excuse me. Who benefits from the erasure? The removal of these items ensured that critical pieces of history never reached public examination. Intelligence agencies, private collectors, and undisclosed groups now hold what was once publicly accessible. I want to go into that a little bit. Private collectors, very little. However, a lot of these artifacts did land in the hands of Hobby Lobby, and they were selling this stuff through their stores. So that's one thing. But it's mainly governments, and it's the government of the United States and the UK. And they went in there for... It just mentions some items here, but not the actual importance, and you'll have to go back to last Saturday's show to get all the information on that. So wars often have hidden agendas, and history is a currency of control. What was taken in Iraq may never be seen again, but the implications of what was erased and why continue to shape the way history is presented to the world. I also want to add in there, it's not like in this place, but or like would be in this place of, you know, these documents that I put together, but sacrifice, human sacrifice. So a lot of people believe that the wars are about money, and yeah, that could be because we have military industrial complex involved in playing both sides. Same with the money, loans going out from one bank to both sides. But the main thing is they get their sacrifice. Okay, these people don't believe in God, Jesus Christ. They believe Satan or whoever else of these other gods is their God. So now we're going to hit into section 8, conclusion and final revelations. We have navigated through the corridors of hidden power, dissecting the structures that dictate society, finance, intelligence, and information control. From the architects of global influence to the concealed mechanisms of elite governance, one undeniable truth emerges. True power operates beyond the surface, shaping reality in ways most will never see or understand. The forces uncovered throughout this investigation do not exist in isolation. They are interconnected, operating as a singular entity with a unified goal: to preserve and expand control. Family legacies spanning centuries continue to influence economic systems, ensuring global wealth remains concentrated within a select few. Organizations founded on secrecy maintain their grip on political influence, steering nations, economies, and ideologies toward hidden agendas. Through media control, financial manipulation, and digital surveillance, the future is shaped by those who orchestrate its framework, not those who merely participate in it. So where do we go from here? Understanding these mechanisms is the first step towards dismantling them. Exposing the architects of influence, questioning institutional power, and disrupting engineered systems offers paths towards reclaiming autonomy. In other words, it gives us a path to getting out of the matrix for those that are on that wavelength. Power is not freely given. It is taken, preserved, and concealed. But the more that light is cast upon its shadows, the weaker its grip becomes. The future is not predetermined, but unless control is challenged, it will be engineered to serve the interest of those who dictate its course. And they're not good people. The time to question everything is now. Okay, and then I have my prologue, my ending, and then we'll be done. So this is my closing statement. And some of you might laugh or think this is funny, but I'm taking this pretty seriously. What we've explored tonight barely scratches the surface. The layers of control, the manipulation of history, and the structures that dictate our existence. These are not topics that can be fully unraveled in just 90 minutes. The truth is vast, tangled, and deliberately obscured. But tonight we opened the door, we peeked in, we lifted the veil. We examined the elite bloodlines, the hidden forces pulling the strings, and the mechanisms that ensure control remains in the hands of the few. Yet, even with all we've covered, there is so much more to uncover, so much more. So many unanswered questions, concealed alliances, and deliberately erased stories. In future episodes, we'll go deeper. We'll push beyond speculation, beyond surface level theories, and straight into the heart of who truly owns and controls our world. We will identify the identities, dissect their influence, and follow the trails that have been hidden from public view. So before we close tonight, I want to make something absolutely clear. I'm not the suicidal word. I don't have any intention of harming myself. So if anything happens to me, it was not by my own hand. And I want to firmly, on record, state this. My mission is to uncover hidden truths, not to self-destruct. If you ever hear otherwise, question everything. Stay sharp, stay questioning, and most importantly, stay relentless in your search for truth. Your search for truth should always bring you back to one place, Jesus Christ. God bless everybody on the other side of the screen, and we'll see you next week.